The story happened in the Peony House in the 3rd year of Tang Dazhong. A group of beautiful women were drinking with a man. But when everyone was in high spirits, the man suddenly loosened the rope, and then he shouted loudly for the nanny. When she learned that he was looking for a new top player, the nanny couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Although the little sister was beautiful, she was blind. The man not only didn't care about these, but he also threw a large sum of money. Soon, the little sister was brought over. Looking at the girl in front of him who looked like a lotus, the man instantly became energetic. He drew out a sharp sword and put it on the little sister's face, and then kept wandering on her body. And then he even opened the little sister's coat with a sword. The little sister was frightened by him and wanted to escape, but he grabbed her. When the little sister heard the familiar footsteps, she was relieved. With the sound of stringed instruments, the little sister instantly entered the state. She fluttered like a beautiful butterfly, and she twisted like a graceful willow branch, beautiful and intoxicating. Suddenly, her sleeves were swung open, and her sleeves were dancing, as if countless petals were floating down from the sky. The man's heartbeat could not help but speed up, and even the drunkenness subsided a little. But just when her dance was about to end, the man actually pulled the little sister into his arms, and then he did something improper in public regardless of the obstruction. In a panic, a roar suddenly came from behind him. The little sister was also going to be taken back to the government office, and the nanny hurried forward to stop her. When he learned that the little sister's dancing skills were rare, Captain Liu couldn't help but get interested. Soon, the servants brought up the sword drum and sent a plate of stones to Captain Liu. The guests and the singing girls walked out of the room one after another. They didn't want to miss this rare fairy pointing the way. The little sister had already set up her posture in the center of the ancient town, and Captain Liu directly shot the stone out. As the drum sounded, the little sister reacted instantly, and the sleeves in her hand were accurately drawn on the drum surface. Seeing this, Captain Liu immediately increased the difficulty and used a stone to hit 2 drums in succession. But Xiao Mei was still at ease. Listening to the cheers of the crowd, Captain Liu was full of disdain, and then he flicked out another stone. But this time, he hit 4 drums. Unexpectedly, Xiao Mei's dancing posture became more graceful, like a fairy descending to the earth. Seeing that Xiao Mei's dancing skills were so skillful, Captain Liu directly threw all the stones in the plate to the drum formation. Xiao Mei stood there, and she was not panicked at all. When all the stones fell to the ground, the sound of Jinshi Jiyin instantly resounded throughout the Mudanfang. And Xiao Mei showed the world the strength of the top card. The graceful dance posture and the flying sleeves outlined a beautiful picture. But just when everyone was intoxicated, Xiao Mei suddenly drew out a sharp sword with her sleeves, and she stabbed directly at Captain Liu's vitals. Captain Liu picked up the plate and threw it hard. The younger sister retracted her sleeves, and she changed to holding the sword in her right hand and chopped it down. The younger sister dodged forward again. With her extraordinary hearing, she was able to find the position accurately, but she was no match for Captain Liu. Not only was her sleeve cut off, but she was also mercilessly teased. The younger sister hurriedly chased into the bathroom, but just as she listened carefully, Captain Liu quietly circled behind her. Hearing the sound of the sharp blade being sheathed, the younger sister hurriedly turned around to attack. But she lost the initiative and was no match for Captain Liu. After a few moves, she was pushed into the water. Then the younger sister was taken to the police court. It turned out that the drunk man before was also here. It turned out that he was also a captain of the Yamen, and everything just now was a plan of the 2 of them. Now the emperor is incompetent, and the court is corrupt, and many anti-government organizations have emerged among the people. Among them, the Feidao sect has the greatest power. There are many masters under the Feidao sect. They use killing the rich and helping the poor to overthrow the court as their banner, and they are deeply supported by the people. Their headquarters was set up in Fengtian County near the capital. They had cleared out the Feidao sect once before, and they also shot and killed the leader Liu Yunfei. But the Feidao sect soon found a new leader. Under this person's leadership, the Feidao sect not only restored its original strength, but also expanded rapidly in the surrounding areas. So the state government ordered them to arrest the new leader of the Feidao sect within 10 days. And the younger sister, the daughter of the former leader, became the best breakthrough for the 2 of them. But no matter how Liu the police threatened, the younger sister refused to speak. Seeing this, Jin the police planned to escort the younger sister to the state government in exchange for the reward. But Liu the police did not want to give up. When Liu the police heard this, a trace of displeasure flashed across his face, but it quickly disappeared. Late at night, Jin the police came to the cell as planned. With the active cooperation of the guards, Jin the police quickly completed the prison break. The fact is, just as Liu the constable thought, no girl can resist the hero saving the beauty, especially a girl with congenital defects. In this way, Jin Gutu successfully changed his name to Suifeng and gained Xiaomei's trust. Xiaomei was very curious about his appearance. Suifeng directly pulled up his hand and touched his own face, but was rejected by Xiaomei. Xiaomei slowly squatted down, and she carefully groped from the knee up. Through the thigh muscles and the gesture of holding the knife, Xiaomei roughly guessed Suifeng's skill, and when she found that he was very young, she smiled with satisfaction. Just as Suifeng was daydreaming, there was a faint sound of horse hooves in the distance. He immediately pulled Xiaomei away. But not long after running away, Xiaomei's knife bag was accidentally lost. Seeing her anxious look, Suifeng chose to go back to look for it. But not long after he left, the pursuers quietly appeared. Xiaomei turned and ran. Hearing the sound of horse hooves getting closer, the younger sister suddenly turned around and grabbed the spear. The huge impact pushed him back again and again. The younger sister twisted her body hard and pushed the spear aside. However, 2 more pursuers rushed up immediately. Although she avoided the fatal blow, she knew it was just a test by the opponent. In order to quickly get out of the desperate situation, the younger sister could only take a risky move. She used herself as bait to attack the mount with all her strength. But even so, he was still no match for the 4 people. After a few moves, she was pressed to the ground by the opponent and could not move. At the critical moment, Suifeng finally rushed back. He directly drew his bow and arrow, and 4 black rays shot out in an instant. Looking at the disheveled younger sister, Suifeng hugged her in his arms. After the 2 of them left, the 4 constables climbed up one after another. It turned out that this chase was still a plan of the 2 of them. The little sister, who was kept in the dark, not only revealed the approximate location of Fei Daomen, but also took a bath in front of Suifeng. Looking at the little sister in men's clothes, Suifeng could no longer suppress his desire. At this moment, the 2 of them were completely in each other's arms. But just when they were about to go further, the little sister suddenly noticed something unusual, and then she raised her hand to stop them. Suifeng, who was unaware of this, thought that the time had not come yet. The next morning, Suifeng took advantage of the little sister's deep sleep and secretly went to the depths of the woods to meet with Liu the constable. When he learned that the government would no longer send people to hunt him down, Suifeng readily agreed and directly showed off their situation. Liu the constable advised him not to be tempted by the little sister. As the daughter of the leader of the Fei Daomen gang, it was impossible for her to be so simple. But Suifeng disagreed. Seeing this, Liu the constable once again emphasized that he should be careful. Looking at Suifeng's departing back, Liu the constable's face was full of murderous intent. Soon after, Suifeng followed Xiaomei and continued to rush towards the Fei Dao gate. When they rested on the way, Xiaomei suddenly smelled the strong fragrance of flowers, and then she groped forward on her own. Seeing Xiaomei's face full of joy, Suifeng immediately jumped on the horse, and then he shuttled around in the grass. When he returned to Xiaomei again, he had a bunch of flowers in his hands. At this moment, the heart was silent, and the ambiguity grew wildly. But at this moment, the pursuers quietly appeared not far away. Suifeng rushed forward to wink, but the other party was full of indifference, and then they swung the knife at Suifeng's neck. Suifeng did not dare to be careless. He felt the severe pain in his waist, and Suifeng finally realized that something was wrong. Listening to the continuous chopping sound, Xiaomei slowly touched the knife bag on her waist. When she locked the position of the pursuer, the flying knife instantly slipped out of her hand. The companions hurriedly hid behind the shield, but it was still useless. Suifeng also dealt with 2 pursuers. Before the 2 could catch their breath, 4 more pursuers rushed over from a distance. Compared with the previous batch, these few people cooperated very well. Xiaomei's flying knives were all blocked by the opponent. In a hurry, Xiaomei could only choose close combat, but as soon as they fought, her wooden stick was chopped in 2. Seeing that Xiaomei was about to die under the knife, Suifeng shot arrows while running. The pursuers who were caught off guard all fell down in an instant. A large number of pursuers appeared around again. They took advantage of the fact that the opponent had not completely closed in, and Suifeng pulled Xiaomei up and ran. However, they could not get rid of the pursuers at all. Then the 2 of them were surrounded. At the critical moment, 4 flying knives suddenly shot out from the depths of the woods. The 2 of them took the opportunity to deal with the remaining pursuers. Suifeng thought that it was the Fei Dao sect who came to the rescue, but he was told that there was someone else. After this fight, Xiaomei wanted to give herself to her beloved. Unexpectedly, she was rejected by Suifeng. At this moment, he just wanted to know why there were still pursuers. Captain Liu was also very helpless. The state government disliked their slow speed in solving the case, so they sent elite shield soldiers to try to lure out the Fei Dao sect by pretending to be real. And there was another wave of pursuers next, and the order they received was also to kill without mercy. Sui Feng didn't want to stain his hands with the blood of his colleagues, but Captain Liu had no other way. At this moment, Sui Feng could no longer suppress his anger. He threw down his sword bag and turned away. He wanted to give up this cruel and bloody task. At the same time, the little sister who was drinking water noticed something was wrong. Then the pursuers fell from the sky. She immediately grabbed the bamboo pole and kicked them both back. But before he could stand firm, another pursuer pounced on him. The little sister hurriedly hid to the side, then grabbed the bamboo pole and rose into the air with it, and then she got close to the other party and shot quickly. She finally got rid of the pursuers, and there was movement again not far away. Listening to the whistling attack, she waved the bamboo pole in her hand repeatedly. Seeing that the long-range attack could not cause damage, the two pursuers took the opportunity to get close, and they forced Xiaomei to the ground. The rest of the people replaced them with sharp blades to surround her. Although Xiaomei danced the bamboo pole in her hand tightly, it was chopped into bamboo strips by the opponent in a few strokes. Without her weapon, she could only dodge in the crowd. However, the opponent was getting closer and closer. Seeing that Xiaomei was about to die here, a knife suddenly blocked in front of her. Hearing the familiar voice, all the unhappiness in Xiaomei's heart disappeared instantly. With the tacit cooperation of the two of them, the pursuers were beaten and dared not move forward. Sui Feng hurriedly pulled Xiaomei to escape deep into the woods. During the period, he chopped bamboo frantically, but he didn't expect that not only did he fail to stop the pursuers, but he put the two of them in a desperate situation. No matter where they ran, they could not get rid of the lock of the bamboo pole. At this moment, a tripwire suddenly appeared under Xiaomei's feet, and then dense spikes emerged. Fortunately, Sui Feng reacted quickly, so Xiaomei was not pierced through the neck. All signs indicate that someone has revealed the location of Fei Daomen to Zhou Mansion. Otherwise, the pursuers would not have set a trap here. But at this moment, Sui Feng had no time to think about these things. Seeing the pursuers slowly cutting bamboo poles, the two of them were completely in despair. But at this moment, several flying knives suddenly attacked from the depths of the bamboo forest. The officers and soldiers who were caught off guard were instantly wiped out. When Xiaomei saw the style of the flying knives, she was very excited. Sui Feng arrived at the headquarters of Fei Daomen as he wished. He never thought that the nanny of Mudanfang was actually the new gang leader they were looking for. What he didn't expect was that the gang leader actually wanted to marry Xiaomei to him. The sudden surprise made Sui Feng let down his guard instantly. At this time, a big net trapped him tightly. When he saw that Liu was also tied up, Sui Feng instantly understood his own situation. The little sister came in after changing her clothes. She didn't look blind at all. Obviously, she was not Liu Yunfei's daughter. She did all this just to lead them here so that she could wipe out the surrounding constables in one fell swoop. Then, the eldest sister took Liu to the outside. She swung the knife suddenly, but she only cut the rope. Listening to the nanny's flattering words, Liu did not react at all. At this moment, he just wanted to know whether this mission was ordered by the gang leader. Since he went to the government office as an undercover 3 years ago, he has made countless contributions to Fei Daomen. He still couldn't understand why the gang leader asked him to carry out the mission, when he knew that he and the little sister were childhood sweethearts. Seeing that Liu was unwilling to give up, the nanny had to arrange for the two of them to meet first. Liu wanted to release the depression of the past 3 years, but he was rejected by Xiaomei. Liu was a little unbelievable. In order to marry Xiaomei in a grand manner, he went deep behind the enemy to gain merit, but was snatched away by others. Liu, who was furious, directly took shelter. He would not allow Xiaomei to be taken away by anyone. But just when he was about to succeed, a flying knife suddenly attacked from behind. When he saw that the attacker was the new gang leader, Liu knelt on the ground and did not dare to act rashly. The new gang leader knew Liu's feelings for Xiaomei. In order to let him do things with peace of mind, she ordered Xiaomei to kill Sui Feng herself. However, she overlooked one thing. Love has never been calculated by the length of time, and there is no reason to follow. In Sui Feng's stunned eyes, Xiaomei could no longer suppress the deep love in her heart. In this way, the two had a real husband and wife in the world. After the passion faded, Sui Feng asked Xiaomei to leave with him because he knew very well how the gang dealt with traitors. Xiaomei also wanted to leave with Sui Feng, but she knew that there would be no result between the two of them, so she resolutely chose to refuse. Soon after, Sui Feng left alone reluctantly, and Xiaomei rushed to the Fei Dao gate. But at this moment, a flying knife suddenly attacked from a distance. He hurriedly threw out his saber to block it, but he didn't expect that the other party used 2 knives in one. Xiao Mei was hit in the chest and fell off the horse. Looking at Liu, the head of the police not far away, Xiao Mei was not surprised at all. She just had a little apology on her face. When Sui Feng, who couldn't bear to leave, came, Xiao Mei had already fallen in a pool of blood, her life hanging by a thread. But just when he was grieving, there was a sudden movement behind him. While dodging, Sui Feng picked up his saber and wrestled with Liu, the head of the police. He never thought that his friend was actually an undercover. The two of them rushed towards each other again. They swung the sharp blades in their hands with all their strength. Heavy snow fell from the sky. But the two of them fought more and more bravely. Even if they were seriously injured, they had to kill the person in front of them. Soon, both of them had exhausted their physical strength. At this moment, Captain Liu suddenly remembered the flying knife on his back. Seeing that the man he loved was about to die under the knife, Xiao Mei stumbled to his feet. In Sui Feng's horrified eyes, he threatened Captain Liu with the flying knife on his chest. Seeing Captain Liu waving his arm, Xiao Mei pulled out the flying knife without hesitation to save Sui Feng. However, what was blocked was a drop of blood. At this moment, Captain Liu was ashamed and walked away like a zombie. Sui Feng and Xiao Mei stayed in this beautiful mountain forever.